When it comes to rescheduling your IDT on the EDM homepage, you would click Create New IDT Request. Next to Type of Request, click Reschedule. Select the appropriate type of support that works for you. For reschedule date, you would choose a date in the future that you want to execute this drill or drills. Now, to reschedule a drill or drills, you can only reschedule drills you have not already rescheduled. Since I have already rescheduled almost all of my drills for the year, I only have 4 days I can choose from for a total of 8 IDTs. Now, if I have a bunch of IDTs I want to reschedule at once, I can do that. Let's say I want to reschedule all of my remaining original IDT dates to a bit earlier because I want to go augment my active duty component for a few days in February. I would first go to original IDT date, which I just did. Click a date. Select both periods. Then click Add Row. Select another date. Then select both periods. And now that accounts for 2 days. And then so on and so forth until I have all 8 IDTs showing up here. I will then go to Reschedule IDT date and select the dates I'm executing those drills. So I said at the beginning of February, I would go to Reschedule IDT date, click on February, click on February 1, and I would copy and paste it twice, or once, since each period only counts for 4 hours, and I'm going to be there for a full workday, so that's 8 hours. Then click February 2nd twice. Or you can just copy and paste it. And then I would do February 3rd twice and February 4th twice. I would then click Tasks and Accomplishments and type out Augment Active Duty Component. Under Point of Contact Name, I would enter the info of the individual who could vouch for me that I did that work along with their contact information. Under IDT Location, you would pick what is applicable to you. And under Justification Reason, you would pick what is applicable to you. Be sure to also complete the comments in the IDT Location and Justification comments to make sure the NOSC who ultimately has the final approval on your drills doesn't reject it because they have questions. Finally, when you're finished, you would hit Submit. If you run into any issues, you would get an error message. Typically, the errors that you may run into is rescheduling a drill to a day that you already have a drill scheduled for. So it's important to make sure you know your most up-to-date drill schedule before submitting an IDT reschedule request. Once you submit it successfully, the next page will say you have submitted it successfully, and under My IDT Request Pending, your reschedule request will show up. So finally, one question that gets asked often is, can you reschedule an already rescheduled drill? If so, how do you reschedule an already once rescheduled drill? So for instance, let's say your unit drill schedule doesn't match your drill schedule in EDM at the beginning of the fiscal year. So you do your job as a sailor and reschedule your drills in EDM to match up your unit drill schedule. But then something happens and your CO says your upcoming drill weekend on January 13th, 14th has been canceled and will instead happen on February 6th, February 5th, 6th, and 7th. You go, oh darn, you had already rescheduled some drills in December to January 13th and 14th. You couldn't reschedule it again, can you? Well, you can definitely reschedule your rescheduled drills, just not the way we just did it. Since you can only reschedule a day that has not already been rescheduled by going to Create New IDT Request, to reschedule an already rescheduled drill request, you can go here to Reschedule IDT Request. You will see a list of all of your already once rescheduled IDT periods. So since our unit CO wanted to change the January 13th, 14th drill weekend to February 6th and 7th, I can sort IDT date, look for the January 13th and 14th dates, and then click Modify IDT. And wouldn't you know it, everything is blocked out except the actual date where I can change the reschedule date. So you could go in, click the little calendar, change it to February 6th, and then you would hit submit. The tricky thing about this is you can only do it for each period at a time. So whereas with rescheduling an original IDT date, you can do multiple at once. When you reschedule, you can only do it one by one. So you go in and I did one for the 13th. I would have to do another one for the 13th because it's 2 periods. Again, do the same thing. Click the calendar, change to February, change that to 6th. Then I would hit submit. And then I would do the same to the 14th and the 15th. And it's a little tedious, but that pretty much gets the job done. And that's how you would reschedule an already rescheduled IDT request. One other thing, a little bonus content, would be how to request a non-pay IDT. So since every sailor is allotted 48 IDTs authorized for pay, sometimes we drill more than that. And while sometimes our units may get lucky and have a little extra funding to do additional pay IDTs, most of the time that's not possible. But you can drill for points. So when you drill for points, you would go to Create New IDT Request. Under Type of Request, select Additional. Again, fill out Type of Support as appropriate. You would select the additional date that you would be performing this IDT. You would then select a period. Now, the difference here is with a paid drill, it counts for 4 hours. A non-paid drill, you only have to do 3 hours. So you would go without pay, and non-pay additional shows up. And if you're only doing 3 hours, you could do one period. If you're doing 6 hours, you can go in and do another period. Without pay, non-pay additional. You would fill out the point of contact information as appropriate, same with IDT location, and then you would click submit. Oh, and of course, be sure to fill out the tasks and accomplishments. Once you submit it, it will go through the same approval process. It would need your unit CO approval or its designate, or your NOS-CO approval or their designate. And this request, once approved, will show up on your drill schedule. If you found this video to be effective in helping you understand your EDM, please view my other video on viewing and understanding your drills in EDM.